Yo, GM. We'll get this underway shortly. For little lunch levels. Let this beat ride out a little bit longer. See if we can have some more people trickle in. How's everybody doing today? On this fine Monday lunch hour. Make sure I get all my posts out. Just bear with me a moment here, lads. I'll be with you in a second. Let me turn down the music and we'll get this going and underway. There we go. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome on this Monday afternoon. How is everybody doing on this Memorial Day? Salute to all the troops. Salute to those from the past that fought, laid down their lives and sacrificed. And salute to anyone currently embroiled in any combat struggle. How was everybody's weekend? Bit of a small turnout right now, but that is okay. Rain or shine, we're gonna show up. We're gonna run our levels. Let me switch the screen up here. There we go. What do we have here? We got the BTC weekly chart opened. Let me clean up my screen a little bit. There we go. There's the BTC weekly chart. What are we looking at here? Well, a couple weeks ago, we tagged that monthly level, saw a reaction off it, and then look at where the weekly tagged that monthly level, you know, high time frame levels, also at weekly level got swept. Decent reaction there. But we'll dive into that in a minute. We're probably going to have some levels to have to clean up. Let's get to a little bit of housekeeping. Welcome to Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 29. Lunch levels. We do a little lunch levels today. Didn't host the weekly close yesterday, given that it was a long weekend. I wasn't sure how many people would be around and active. But here we are, this Monday noon hour. If you're in the New York East Coast, morning time if you're West Coast. And obviously later in the day if you are out over in Europe. We're going to take a look at our high time frame levels, discuss some strategy for the days and week ahead. We'll take a look at BTC ETH and SOL. We may even look at the weekly macro dashboard. And who knows, we may take a look at my high time frame swing screener pro to see if there's been any interesting weekly SFPs. Let's pop back over to here, BTC weekly chart. Let's zoom out, go to monthly, see what we see. I mean, this is still looking to me like lower high territory on monthly. You know, I hate to say it, but it is still looking like lower high territory. Let me switch this beat up. I don't want to just listen to the same thing over and over again. There we go. Right, underside retest of a key monthly level. I could see this being a lower high to revisit some areas down here. We'll see though. On weekly, this is looking promising. We had shorts off of there, and we had shorts over the last, well, it was a solid short that we had before the weekend. Closed that one out too early myself, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at daily. So here's our daily levels. You can see we SFP'd the daily range low level here. I think if we can clean this one off, no longer relevant. You know, on daily, this is where I would be looking for a lower high, to be honest. This is lower high area. But let's see what else we've got on lower time frames. I mean, look at here. We're into this H12 level that's been interacted with a few times. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, it's still many hours till the close, but if this closes an H12 SFP here, let's see what's happening on H1. Oh, and look, we're right into the H1 bearish breaker that gave us the short at the end of last week. Never got the retest into this H1 bullish breaker that I outlined in the Telegram channel. If you're not a member, subscriber to the Telegram channel, it is a public free Telegram channel. You can find the link for Rapture's trade book in my bio on Twitter or in the description if you are joining on YouTube. It's a public Telegram. Go and join there. I post charts a lot more frequently. It's the companion, the in-between sessions, where I provide more updates and more charts more frequently. So this is kind of interesting what we got going on up here. We're back into this bearish H1 breaker, and you are getting H1 SFPs into the zone. I think what I see most, though, is that this H12 candle, it's still 7+ hours to go. That I'm not ready to say this is a short. You can hunt shorts around here, but I don't know that it's time yet. Let's see H4. H4 has put in a bunch of SFPs, but it's trying to close up and above here. What can we do here? What is that? Is that an H12? That's an H4 level. I think we can get rid of this level. Yeah, we can get rid of that level now. Just time to do a little housekeeping and clean some things up. Can we get rid of this level? Yes. Okay, so I didn't see it yesterday. When was this? Yeah, this was Sunday. Didn't see it yesterday, but you did have an H4 SFP here. All right, this is what I talk about. Always mark out your H4 and above swing levels. Well, you had an H4 SFP there that gave you the long. Where was that? Here. Oh, gave you a perfect retest into a bullish breaker for the long. But that's, you know, hindsight is whatever. I don't like to be a hindsight couch quarterback outlining things that happened. We've got to try and find what's going to happen next. Okay, well, there's something that's interesting to me right there. H4 level, H4 SFP, right there. Let's see what's going on here. So this is that SFP right here. To confirm the breaker, you need to close all the way down here. I don't love it. There's no setup here yet. I think you kind of want to let this develop a bit. It's also a Monday, right? What do I say about Mondays? I like to let the Monday range develop a little bit further before deciding or forming too much of a bias. Although we try to be as bias neutral as possible, right? That's what the high time frame levels are all about. Mark them out, take the trades. Look, you even had a short off of that one. On Sunday, it looks like Sunday was busy. I was not dialed in on Sunday. I had my kids. I'll be honest, lad, it's been a bit of a tough time of year for me with some stuff going on in my personal life. But, you know, the way through it all is just to stick to your process, stay focused, and just do you. Anyways, I don't want to get into that right now. I think there's reason to hunt shorts here. I don't have a short here yet. Yeah, you could say, okay, there's your M5 and look at where it's rejecting off of. There's your M5 bearish breaker. I don't really like anything below M15, to be honest with you. I typically like to trade M15 breakers, and we don't have that yet. Yes, we're inside of that H1 breaker from before. Let's just see if there's a... I mean, you have an H4 breaker in this region, but it's not so clean. I think you give this a little bit of time to develop. Because this H12 candle closes in a while from now, right? Like that's an H12 swing. This is an H12 level. I think you give this a little bit more time to play out. I wouldn't rush into it here. I do think I prefer a short here than a long, obviously. You know, extend and move off of there, right off of that daily SFP down here. All right, what did I say on Saturday? I was like, well, here's potential daily SFP. I outlined the H1 breaker. You never got a retest. Should have stuck to my M15 because M15 you actually got right here. If we tighten it up, the M15 breaker's there. Even had a market structure shift style breaker. So that's another thing we could look at. Do we have a market structure shift style breaker forming here? Well, not yet. But if you get an M15 close below there, below that level there, that's a market structure shift style breaker. So that's something you could watch for a short if you want the early trigger versus the market structure break. Does anyone have any questions about that? Like what I'm talking about when I say that? Like what's a market structure shift versus a market structure break? Well, for it to be a market structure break, it needs to be the swing low that created the wick of the higher time frame SFP. In this case, we're looking at H12. Sorry, we're looking at an H12 candle here. That would be down here. This is the swing low that created that wick of the H12 SFP, at least so far. That's what a market structure break is. The difference for a market structure shift is rather than it being the swing that creates that SFP, it's the swing directly after the SFP, after that wick. It's a market structure shift because it's an internal level instead of an external level. So you get a close below there. There's your early market structure shift breaker. You look for a short of the retest. It's not confirmed right now, though. Let me just point that out. It is not confirmed. So that's something you can watch for. Let's go back to H12 here. Do you have any other levels to mark out here? No. But H4, well, we outlined that H4 SFP, right? And like I said, you have this M5 bearish breaker. I'm not a huge, they work from time to time, but I'm more a fan of M15. I like M15 a lot. It's really like the time frame that I base my setups off of, right? What's the inception approach? What's the inception trade, right? It's your high time frame level is your signal, mid time frame breaker is your setup, low time frame trigger with a possible SFP inside the zone, giving you another breaker, giving you that inception setup, right? As you can see, this is pushing up. I don't like the M5 breaker here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. We're going to watch this M15 for a market structure shift. You know, you'd say, well, you're missing out on part of the move. Well, from here, distance from here in a retest to here now isn't much, right? And this isn't looking that promising as a short entry. So that's what I see there. Let's go back to H4. Are there any other levels? No, that's your H4 levels. I wouldn't jump the gun on this. I would wait for that M15 market structure shift breaker at minimum. Okay, let's move it on over to ETH. Oh, you know, gnarly off of that monthly level. Let's go to weekly here. I mean, it took out a weekly range quarter, swept that weekly range quarter level. What is that? That was a weekly level. Or is that monthly? No, it's weekly. Is that level still relevant? I don't think it is. I think we can get rid of that. Maybe we'll clean that up a bit. So you took out a weekly range quarter, right? It's actually the weekly midpoint of the inside week level there. Let's take a look and see what we have here. Okay, we got to clean this up a bit. Nope. This is looking a little bit messy here on ETH, isn't it? It's just super choppy. Let's go to H12. We can clean some of this up. You can see I just have not been as focused on ETH. Clean that out. Well, ETH, we're still into this H4 bearish breaker. We were looking at it as a potential bullish breaker, right? There was that SFP there, and I said, well, if it closes above here on H4, well, it never did. It actually breached the top there. I think we can get rid of that. If anything, what I can say is this is an H4 bearish breaker. It's already replayed it, retested it, and shorted up, you know, closed below, retested. There was a short. This is still in play, though. I think that level right there is important. Oops. So I think you're watching what takes place around here on ETH. Doesn't look too hot, does it? Well, there's no setup here right now, but I think you are watching what's taking place here on ETH. What's going on here? What was that? This was from last session, the long for ETH. Didn't really go much. Didn't really go very far though. I wonder, was there other stuff that I drew out over here? I feel like, yeah. Oh, okay. So this is kind of interesting, right? I drew this last session. For anyone that was here last session wants a little update. We had this here as a short setup. And I said what I was outlining, get rid of that too. I said what you're looking for is a pullback down into here is some sort of setup that looks like this to give you a bullish breaker, right? Which would be a low set, and then it gets taken out and closed through the level that takes it out, right? That's what this is. This is a bullish breaker, right? This is a swing low. Price action develops. A swing high gets put in that takes out that swing low, and then you close through and above the swing high that took out the low. That's a bullish breaker. Well, if you look right here, that's exactly what you had. There was a swing low that was set, swing low set, some price action develop, a swing high that creates that SFP, takes out the low, closes above, retests into it, right? Right? There it is. This is this. Gave you a long. For anyone that's curious about the mechanics of a breaker, well, there it is right there in real time. Well, not real time, but like I drew this out showing you what you were looking for. Well, that was it there. Get rid of all that. Yeah, there's not much more to do here at the moment. I would wait to see how this price action develops a bit more. Like if this closes as a SFP here, and then you get a close below this level, then you have an M15 bearish breaker. As of right now, there's not much else to do there. Hold on one second, that's kind of interesting. 1 second. Well, there's your ETH levels on H4. Let's go to Solana. Just a lot of chop here for 4 months. You know, comparative to, oops, what just happened there? Ah, geez. Compared to BTC, which put a leg up, SOL's just been kind of, you know, and ETH's just been kind of not much doing. Again, that monthly level showing sellers step in. Weekly is just boring, right? What is this? Just almost no motion. Was that a weekly SFP? No, it front ran it. Ah, too bad, because then we'd have something to play with there. Let's go to daily. Okay, we've got a lot of levels here that we can start cleaning up. You had a daily SFP there on Saturday. Clean that out. Take this here. Is this of importance? Just trying to tidy up some levels. See if we can clean anything off. Like, is this even still relevant, this level? I don't know. It did give you a short. Gave you a short. Yeah, I suppose those are still relevant. Let's go to H12. So close to that level. It's been giving you lots of trades off of, weekly and daily levels, right? This was a daily SFP. So hold on, let's see. Where's our bullish H1? Here. There's your bullish H1 breaker. It already gave a retest into it yesterday afternoon, so it's a little after the fact. But if you get a retest back into here again, you look for maybe an H4 SFP somewhere into here off that level that we just outlined, that H12 level. Do I see a short anywhere here? Possibly right there. It's not so clean though. I'd rather it be cleaner. I don't really like the way SOL looks. It's really not that clean. Yeah, you had this H1. So if you get a retest back into here and you get an SFP, like an H4 SFP somewhere back down here, by all means, hunt along, right? Like there was an H4 SFP there. So if it gives you another one somewhere here, at the moment though, this level's ugly. Oops. That level's a bit ugly. Let's clean that up. Okay, there. Now we have a little bit more clean. And maybe you get another pull back into here for a long. I'll be honest though, Solana looks... Yeah, you had that daily SFP. You had the setup. I don't really see anything here right now though. Sorry, lads. It's just not. It's the Solana chart just doesn't look so clear to me right now. Okay, let's pop back over here. See what's taking place. Okay, so you're still interacting with this unconfirmed M15 market structure shift style breaker. Nothing to update there yet. And it doesn't have to confirm, right? Like it could keep going up. So I would keep an eye on that. But at least there's our levels, right? Let's extend those out. Extend that out. I know, I say this every time. It can start being a lot of levels. The reason being, we don't know which level until price gets there and gives us the interaction we're looking for. I think too often people say it has to be this level, or they mark one level like that's the level. It's going to be just that level. When you're trading high time frame levels, low time frame execution, you don't give a fuck what high time frame level it is. You just want to have them marked so that you're ready to monitor the interactions. And if you get the interaction you're looking for, you have a trade set up. Otherwise, no. And so we mark our levels and we wait patiently. We wait patiently. There's no forcing trades. There's no rushing trades. When you force or rush or FOMO or chase, that's where complications arise. That's where you're unclear on your invalidation. That's when you're unclear on why you're taking the setup. there's always another trade. There's always another setup. And if you mark your high time frame levels in advance and you just have the patience to wait for your setup triggers, right? You get your signal, you get your high time frame signal, level gets taken out. Then you're looking for your low time frame price action to show you if there's a setup or not. And if not, then you just have more patience and you wait to watch the price action unfold. Oops. Let's go back here to ETH. Yeah, it's still interacting with that level. So you got an SFP there. The market structure break level is all the way down here. I wouldn't rush into anything there. You know, maybe this might end up being the bearish breaker off of that level, but we don't know yet. Why do I say we don't know yet? Well, because we haven't confirmed it with a close below here, right? Like the next candle could blow through this and then this whole breaker gets negated and invalidated and we look for a new one. It's not about being predetermined about what it's going to be. It's about looking for the price action. Hey, JJ, what's good, my dude? Coming in fashionably late. It's all good, my friend. Appreciate you being here. How are you? How's your Memorial Day weekend going? How's your how's everything going? Well, my buddy JJ, he likes to create music, and I know he's been recording with his band. How's that been going, my dude? Good to see you. Hopefully you don't mind me sharing that information. Okay, and let's take one other look at, yeah, I have nothing here on Solana. I got nothing here on Solana. Let's take a look at, I mean, SPX is just insane, right? Look at that. Gave you the daily SFP. Boom. When was that? On Tuesday, it SFP'd that level. Now new all-time highs. I mean, it's trading completely different than crypto, right? Completely different than crypto. Now, here's where it could get interesting because you actually do have a weekly swing high that was set. So if the weekly ends up as an SFP of this, then we have a different trade situation, right? But this is just insane strength. Insane strength. Now, obviously, given it's Memorial Day, I think this must be futures that are trading, right? But solid move back up above. Let's take a look here. Did you have, so, you know, just like we outlined on crypto pairs, there was your daily SFP, H1 bullish breaker, confirmed setup, closed above. The swing high that created the daily SFP, you closed above it on low time frames. You even had H1 SFPs into the region. There was your long. Clean, 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 clean. The only reason why I go back through and do these after the fact, showing the setups that I see, is because I'm not monitoring every chart all the time. I mostly focus on BTC. And so when I see these on other charts, it's to help you guys see the setups for yourself so that you can be taking them on your own. You know, I'm not a signal service. I don't think that's a good approach to trading in the first place if you're relying on someone else for signals. What you want to do is rely on yourself by learning the strategy, by learning process, by developing your own process and your own strategy that works for you, that works for your availability, your time commitments, the time frames you like to trade on, and iterating on it, testing it, and working it out to get it as tight and as clean and approachable for your temperament, for the way you trade. JJ says, busy, working through it, hitting the studio the 30th. Awesome, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, well, we've looked at majors. You know, we've got BTC, ETH, SOL, SPX briefly. We've got our high time frame levels. And I'll post charts in the Telegram later on. Once again, if you're not a member of the Telegram Rapture's trade book, you can find a link for that in the description for this video on YouTube. or in my bio on Twitter. That's Rapture's Trade Book. It's a public channel. Come and join. I sometimes put polls in there. I dump my thoughts from time to time a little bit more candidly than I do on Twitter. And it's charts in between the live sessions. Let's pop this back open. Okay, so we took a look at our high time frame levels, discussed strategy, and looked at some setups that are popping up. So why don't we take a look at the weekly macro dashboard? What do we have? We got BTCD, or BTC dominance. We got the total ES slash BTC, which is the total crypto market cap excluding stablecoins divided by BTC, which is my barometer for altcoin health. We have the USDT.D dominance, or the tether dominance chart, which that's interesting. That weekly SFP from last week, we're starting to get some follow through on it to the downside. We have ETH BTC, SOL BTC, and SOL ETH. Let's take a look at BTCD for a second. I would really like to see BTCD do a push up and take out a high time frame level. I don't really like that it just kind of stopped here without, it put in a swing high on weekly. There was also a swing high here. I would like to see it spike through at least one of those. So I think because of that, Bitcoin dominance can still push up again. Or maybe it just rolls over here, maybe. But I would like to see a weekly level get taken out. I think we're going to stun that across. Clean some of this up. Yeah, I would like to see that get taken out. For that reason, I think Bitcoin can still push up from here. And in fact, if that is what's going to take place, it's the better thing for the market anyways. Now, this is kind of interesting, right? Total ES, we outlined that inside week that it took out. I'm not a huge believer in many alts these days. I don't really trade alts too often. I think the key with alts is you have to go where the focus is. Stick to the 2 to 3 pairs, the small basket of alts that are doing well, and just trade the levels until they stop working. That's your hypes, that's your Zcashes and assets like that. I'm not that in tune at the moment with alts. I just haven't really been focused on them at all. Could this be bottoming out here? Possibly. But overall, though, it doesn't look that healthy, right? I think you monitor this inside week levels, right? Took out a low. Maybe it trades up to the high. Maybe it comes and takes out this level. This is what's interesting to me, though. Tether dominance, weekly SFP last week. We outlined that level last week and said maybe it's going to spike that. Well, there it did. It spiked that, and now it's rolling over. This is a good sign for capital flowing back into the market out of stablecoins, right? What is USDT dominance? All that it is the dominance of Tether stablecoins in the market. And if we're going to start to roll over off of here, right, we put that level, it spiked it, showing reversal. This coupled with, if this starts to push up into here, that's what I'd want to see, right? Capital flowing out of stablecoins back into the market. I'd like to see it flow into Bitcoin first. Those select alts. I mean, alts have been so battered that it doesn't take much to move them, right? So just a little bit of capital moving into them. I'm just not really up to date with narratives and what's been happening in the market outside of, like, privacy's been hot. Hyperliquid's had its catalysts, a lot of positivity around that ecosystem. ETH BTC, I mean, it just still looks like shit. I see no reason to want to trade this over Bitcoin unless you get some sort of high time frame level sweep or SFP, and you just don't have that here. Now, I could say that, and ETH could trade up against BTC over the next week, and it changes the things. But from looking at ETH BTC, it doesn't really give me any reason to want to. SOL BTC. Not really giving me much that's telling me I really want to trade this. Yeah, you had that bullish candle, but then it gave most of it back. Let's take a look at SOL ETH. If anything, this looks like this wants to roll over against ETH. Solana wants to roll over against ETH. That's what I see there, is that Solana looks like it wants to roll over against ETH. But it doesn't look to me like ETH wants to outperform Bitcoin. Oh, we're getting an H4 SFP. So I don't know. On the weekly macro dashboard, alt's obviously having a bit more strength, which is what's taking this out of BTCD here. With Tether dominance starting to roll over, I'd like to see this roll back into BTCD though, push up. I really wouldn't focus on SOL or ETH at this moment in time. Let's take a look though. What was that H4 SFP on ETH? Let's take a look. So it's this level here. It's SFPing this level here. And it's also sweeping this level here. Where's our setup? Okay, so if you confirm this breaker with a close below an M15, you look to short a retest into here. There's nothing here yet. There's no trade here yet. Yeah, you have an M5 market structure shift, but I don't want to deal with that. I think you just have patience here. You let some more of the Monday range form before jumping into anything. But you do have a possible setup starting to form here on ETH. SOL, I really just see nothing here still, right? Like, there's nothing. I have no level to trade off of here right now. And you guys know me by now. I like to just trade the high time frame levels and not jump in front of them. Here's that M15 market structure shift is still yet to confirm, so you want to wait for that to come. Trade below there. Not much else to say here, lads. A little bit of patience here. If you confirm these M15 market structure shift breakers on BTC and ETH, you have shorts. Other than that, don't rush anything because this is an H12 level on BTC. Yeah, we did the H4 SFP there. So I would just sit tight. Don't force. Don't rush anything. Allow some price action to develop a little bit more. But if you do confirm those breakers, then you have your setups. That's when you jump into action. Okay. We'll leave this open. Come over here. So, I mean, we've ran through everything off of here. Should we take a look at the high time frame Swing Screener Pro, my screener suite, to see if there's been any interesting weekly SFPs? Why don't we take a quick look and see? We're over here in Pine Screener. Remember, to use Pine Screener, you need to be subscribed to TradingView with Premium plus at minimum, whatever the second level tier is. Second or third level tier, I can't remember which. So let's pick our high time frame swing screener pro. We're going to put it on the 1 minute. Why 1 minute? Well, that's just how the screener works. Go alert SFP weekly true. Let's put it on this. I don't think there's going to be any here. Nope. Nothing from the big four put in a weekly SFP. Let's take a look at assets on breakout. Did anything put in weekly SFPs? Well, there were a few. Some with decent volume. So let's adjust this. Put that to 50 mil 24-hour volume. Okay. You know what I need to do? I have yet to clean this list. It's been a while. And I've been saying that for a minute. So let's just clean this off. Let's just clear these off and just, well, we'll leave Aster since that's on there. Let's just clear these off. Start fresh. Let's start clearing things up. We'll leave Hype because I want to take a look at Hype and see how that's doing. Let's just clear all these off. We'll leave WLD. There we go. We'll add ADA. We'll add AVAX. We'll add XRP. Take a quick look over here at Hyperliquid. I haven't updated the Hyperliquid asset list in a long time. What else is on here with 50 mil 24-hour vol? Well, ENA is. Looks as though overall volumes are starting to pick up. Volumes are starting to pick up in the market, right? Like for a while, there weren't very many. Looks like I can just get rid of this altogether. I'll have to deal with that later. I don't even know what GMT is. Pax Gold put in a weekly SFP. Okay. Let's take a look at lighter. See? We already covered those off. Take a look at orderly. Similar list. Okay, so we've got our list of weekly SFPs. Now what we can do, come back to over here, pop it over onto there, put this back to H4, and zoom out, save. Let's go to my high time frame layout. My high time frame swing layout. Let's take a look at Hype real quick. Whoa, okay. Well, that's, you know, that is a good sign right there, right? So let's go to monthly here. You know, weekly close through the level. I mean, what a chart, right? What a chart. Not really much to say from here. Get rid of this. Was that a daily SFP? No, it closed above it. We never got that retest. We never got that retest. When we were hunting those longs out there, we never got that retest. I mean, what an insane chart. I think you just ride this for as long as possible. If you get like an H4 SFP into here, you're just hunting the next triggers. I don't really see any reason to want to get bearish on this thing, right? The only thing I guess you're watching is there's 6 days left on the monthly close. If this closes as a monthly SFP, that's a different story, but it's nowhere near looking like that, and weekly looks strong AF. Okay, let's take a look and see what put in weekly SFPs if there's anything interesting. Okay, so weekly SFP there on ADA. What would we look for there? What we'd look for an H12 breaker, there's nothing confirmed there. H4 breaker, there's nothing confirmed there. You're just looking for breakers as a confirm of the turn, and I don't see anything here yet. Sure, we would if we go low time frame, but I don't really like to trade low time frame like off of a weekly trigger, like a weekly SFP. I like to see at minimum an H4 breaker. You just don't have that yet. Let's go to Aster. I mean, this is I think maybe last week it did well because Hyperliquid was doing well, right? So the perp narrative, but bearish weekly SFP. What do we have here? Old level. I mean, you have a market structure shift style H12 breaker right here. And then a sweep at the weekly level again. You could be hunting shorts here on Aster. Check out AVAX. I mean, look at how destroyed these coins are, right? There's just no interest in the market from things like this. It's just like apathy. There's a weekly SFP there. Let's see, what do we have? Well, daily and H12 would be the same breaker. If you get a, excuse me, if you get a daily or H12 close above that, then you hunt along. There's no rush on stuff like this. I mean, look how beaten the chart is, right? Like, why rush into anything on here? You're not missing much. If this starts to go and you get a confirmed setup, you got a lot of room for upside, but right now I just wouldn't force or rush anything. ENA, yeah, I put in a weekly SFP there. You're waiting for this to confirm. All right, confirm a daily breaker there. We don't have that yet. Let's take a look at what this GMT is. I have no idea what asset this is. Where's the weekly SFP? It was here. I just don't like playing wicks like that. If you get an H12 close below here, confirm this market structure shift style breaker, then you have a short, but it's just so ugly. I wouldn't really want to touch that. We looked at hype. Let's look at Pax Gold. Yeah, if you close above this on daily or H12, you have a confirmed bullish breaker on Pax Gold, which means, you know, you take a look at the gold chart, see how that's doing. Maybe gold's about to have another run, but nothing's confirmed here yet. WLD. I'm going to wrap this up shortly, guys, by the way. Oops. We're approaching the 1 hour mark now. I want to start wrapping this up. So there's your weekly SFP. take a look here. Okay, well, this is interesting. You confirmed a daily bullish breaker off the weekly SFP. Yes, it's already retested it, but if it comes back down into here, you're hunting longs. This is the only asset we've seen so far that has confirmed a daily bullish breaker off of a weekly SFP. So you're going to hunt longs in here. XRP put in a weekly bullish SFP there. Let's take a look. Well, if you close above here, then you've confirmed a daily bullish breaker. Until then, there's no trade. Right? Yeah, it would be the same on H12. So close above there on daily or H12, hunt or retest for longs in there. Okay, lads. Well, that has been... Now, before we close out, let's just do one last check. Let's just do one last check-in on BTC. See what's happening here. Has anything confirmed? No. Keep monitoring this market structure shift breaker. If you get the close below here on M15, you're looking to short a retest into there. Same thing on ETH, right? If you close below there, you're looking to short a retest into the box. Other than that, I don't see anything else. And keep note of that WLD. We'll take a look at all these. You can screenshot that if you want. I can also post the short list of weekly SFP assets into the Telegram channel, Rapture's trade book. Okay, lads. Well, with that, if there's no questions, I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 29. We do a little lunch levels episode. We looked at high time frame levels. We discussed strategy for the days and week ahead. We looked at BTC ETH SOL. We took a look at the weekly macro dashboard, which TLDR on that is tether dominance looks like it's rolling over, which would be good for assets. Alts have been performing with little pockets of outperformance, but I do think BTCD wants to push up a little bit more to take out a high time frame level before calling it a rotational market. So I want to see BTCD push up again, which would mean you'd see BTC outperform. We also took a look at my high time frame swing screener pro to see which assets put in weekly SFPs, and we looked through some of those for some of the setups. And don't forget, if you're looking for an exchange, consider using BingX, bingx.com. Use code Rapture for sign up bonuses. And a little bit of housekeeping before we go. Don't forget to follow me, Rapture, at Night the Rapture on Twitter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to help support the growth of this show, both on Twitter and on YouTube. Help pump those likes, help pump those subscriber numbers, help pump the comments, help me reach a wider audience so that I can help more people along their trading journey to go from confusion and FOMO and chasing and emotional trading to even keeled and just having patience and having a process and not worrying about the trades you miss. Just focus on the trades in front of you and not going about it blind. You know, we keep a very simple strategy through years of refinement. And that's what I'm all about here. And on that, lads, I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll catch up again next time. Have a great rest of your Monday, and watch out for those M15 market structure shifts to take place to confirm those breakers to hunt shorts on BTC and ETH. Ciao.